So, for those people that aren't familiar with the stage show or the story, can you explain the story and also your characters in the story? And I'll start with Michael.
Okay, sure. So this is the story of the Four Seasons, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, and these guys are four guys from the wrong side of the tracks who are really sort of clawing their way out of the neighborhood. And I think back then they sort of had the option to get mobbed up, get killed, or become famous, and they chose, you know, obviously the fame. And so it's their story of their rise and to fame, and then their subsequent sort of dealing with that and the cracks that sort of evolve in the group afterwards. And Nick Massey is the bass player, the bass singer, and the arranger of the group. Really, he was partially responsible for that Four Seasons sound, and maybe Frankie's first vocal coach as well.
Fantastic.
I've always thought of Jersey Boys as the ultimate fish out of water story, right? I mean, these are four guys who shouldn't have been much, but they ended up becoming one of the greatest rock and roll groups of all time. Three of them started off in various formations of the group. Frankie, Tommy, and Nick started off as a cover band with a bunch of different names. They don't even know what name they're currently going by at any given time. And they meet this young guy named Bob Gaudio who had a hit song with Who Wears Short Shorts. And they welcome him into the fold, and they take off on this trip that, well, frankly, has landed us here.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get involved in the project? I know you've had experience on the stage before, so how did that all come about?
I was 20 years old when I got cast in the first national tour of Jersey Boys, and I did that for about a year, and then I went to the Las Vegas production and did that for about 2 years. Didn't do the show for like 3 or 4 years, and then all of a sudden I heard that they were making a movie, got a call, got an audition, and it happened. It's one of those things. I mean, I've had smaller projects that, you know, went through more of a rigorous audition process, but this was really sort of, who's the best person for the job? Oh, it's you. Okay, great, you're hired. It was like,
yeah.
I can't believe it happened like that.
And I started in the Toronto production in 2008, did that for 2 years, and then joined the first national tour, touring all over the United States for about a year and a half. And towards the end of that tour, which incidentally Eric opened, and I was closing, we were closing the tour, and Mr. Eastwood showed up in the lobby, and I met him there for the first time. Shortly thereafter, again, got a call. Shortly thereafter, found out that I booked the movie after that audition, and so it was really quite surreal. And then I was basically from that point on, the next couple of weeks, in a costume fitting and meeting Mr. Eastwood in a room for the first time, and it's just such an unbelievable experience. My head is still spinning.
Now, speaking of Mr. Eastwood, who has a great appreciation for music, did he bring anything special to the table, performance-wise, for you musically, or how was it? What was it like working with him?
Yeah, because I think what his best thing was to not get in the way of the music. The music sort of serves as almost another character in this story. Like he sort of got out of the way of our characters. He really wanted to see what we did on our first instinct, and then he would adjust it to, you know, see how it fit into his version. He was so collaborative, but in the same way, it worked the same way for the songs. When it came time to do the production numbers, we went back to what we were most comfortable with, which was doing these songs the way we did them on the Broadway stage, and that's where Clint turned into master filmmaker, almost like a documentary, because he's turned the cameras on. We had all those extras who were, even though they were extras acting, they were enjoying a live rock concert. He captured the energy. If he saw things, he turned the camera over there. If he saw something over there, he didn't get in the way of the songs and the production numbers. He filmed what was happening in that moment.
And was very adamant about having it be a live experience with a live band, which is a tangible energy to have on stage as a performer and an actor. And I think why the people in the audience really, really enjoyed the performances. And it shows on their faces, because it was literally a live performance. We were singing live, and we had a great live band that we were able to play with. So, and he wanted to capture that raw rock sound, and I think we were grateful for that.
Now, what was there a transitional phase for you in your head going from stage to film? I mean, what's the difference there for you?
I think I had maybe about 4 maybe about 4 weeks to sort of.
I thought you were about to say 4 breakdowns. I
Right,
thought you were
right,
about to
no.
say.
And in those 4 weeks, I had I had like, oh my gosh, how am I going to find 4 weeks? You know, this I don't know, confidence to become a Clint Eastwood-worthy actor for film in 4 weeks. It's impossible. And so then I started to realize, you know, he has made a very distinct choice to hire a lot of theater actors, and there's a reason for that. I had to trust and find the confidence in that, and those 1,200 performances that I had under my belt at that time to bring to the table, and knowing that I can live in this world. I'd been living in these suits, in these world. I knew Nick Massey, and I'd made him very much myself over the course of this time, and that I could just show up and be prepared with that, and that he would guide me, and I could default to him implicitly because clearly we were in the best hands possible.
Yeah. That's great. Now, what do you think it is about this story that resonates so well with people? Why? You know, people love this story. What, in your minds, do you think it is?
The script is written in a way that you know these guys. You know these guys so well within the first few minutes of meeting them. You are rooting for them even in their not finest hour. Mm-hmm. And I think, like any great story, that the path that it takes the audience on is really the thing that makes people connect with either the film or the theater piece. I mean, why do we love any piece of art that we go back and watch again? I mean, we've seen it, we know how it ends, and yet we continue to watch it, and like, I know my favorite movies, I want to experience those things over and over again. And I think with Jersey Boys, what we've seen is the fans who come back to the show over and over again, they want to go on that journey again. They want to go on that, because they have the CD at home. If it was just the music, they could stay at home and listen to the CD, and frankly, is going to sound better than, you know, the 7th performance in a week. So there's something that they are connecting to, and what's so great about the film is that everything you loved about the show is there and then some.
Nice. Fantastic.
Yeah, and I do feel like there's a certain level of humanity that's represented in these. I think we're obsessed with celebrity culture because we want to see the humanity of these stars that we see on a flat screen. We want to see what's behind the curtain a little bit. And I think Jersey Boys does a great job of saying, here's these incredibly talented musicians, here's what's going on behind the scenes, and there's grit and there's dirt, and they're human and relatable because of it. And I think that's what people connect with on that cellular level.